So I am a nerdy numbers girl, and I thought I would talk a little bit about some content that I watched on the internet. And I do watch a lot of people, the headlines, the clickbait. There's always something. I have followed the Google News alert for Florida housing bubble since 2006, I think. It's just been so I watch all these things that come into my email box. I follow a lot of people. I follow national pundits. I follow local pundits. And there are a lot of people that either just don't talk about the stats in real estate, or the sky is falling. And today I saw somebody, and this person was more or less like, this is it, folks. It's almost game time. You get your money. Here's where we're going to make some money. The market is crashing, yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there, and my first thought is, well, maybe I missed something. I'm a stats person, so I went to the computer right away, took a look at the listings and the listing history, active listings, just to see what's out there, make sure I didn't miss anything. And, we've been stable with the listings, and we have, not an inflated amount of listings. Like, there's not a lot of choices here. And, I'll throw a graph up here just so you could see that. There's not a lot out there, and what we're seeing is, of course, we're seeing price reductions, but a lot of those price reductions that we're seeing are the people who are making up numbers. And I'm going to give you an example in a moment, but I'll tell you that I've listed property, I've marketed it correctly, I've priced it effectively, I've had the homes cleaned and staged. Those homes not only sold at list price, they sold with multiple offers, and they sold over list. So everything's relative. If you want to take an overpriced property and say that, prices are falling, falling. No, the prices that they guessed at are falling. If somebody really did get serious, they had to change their price, because buyers aren't stupid. I'm listing a house right now. I almost say identical floor plan is $100,000 more down the street. $100,000. And the sellers are telling me, well, the neighbors and in this house, and I went and looked at the house. The house is an open door house. With an open door, bought it 60 days ago, added $100,000 to the price, and relisted it, thinking that you as a buyer are stupid. So here's the long story short of, get your money. We're going to make some money now. The market's crashing. It may be in some places. It may be in some cities. It may be in some states. It's not happening here in Bonita Springs and Estero, Florida. It's just not. The numbers are on our side. We have consistently sold real estate all summer, even though this is our first normal summer in 2 years. Normal meaning people could go home and go to graduations and do their thing. Other than that, every other summer, the last 2 years, people stayed here because they wanted to live free. I'm sorry, you might not like that, but that's the way Florida was running. So people came down here and they lived their best lives, maskless, running around with a beer in one hand and barely any clothes on. That's how it worked for us the last couple years. So right now, we have very low inventory, and even through the hot, miserable month of August, the buyers, especially those snowbird buyers, have been quietly buying real estate all summer. We don't have like people fighting over it. You don't have 40 cars in front of a house. It's not the way it was. That wasn't sustainable. But what I'm telling you right now is, whether I'm representing a buyer or I'm representing a seller, I can do some simple absorption rates for that neighborhood, that housing type, even in a radius of that home, and tell you approximately how much inventory there is. And in many circumstances, there are weeks of inventory to a few months of inventory. I did find a neighborhood that had 6 months of inventory, which is considered a balanced market. So for the most part, we're still selling real estate. It's not dramatic. Now, I will tell you this: if you're a buyer, if you're on the fence waiting for the crash so you can get your money and get in there and make some money, listen, Linda. Right now, even though these buyers have quietly been buying, this is at the end of August. I made this on August 24th, 2022. We have Labor Day weekend coming up. Ding! That's the first bell. Those buyers are going to be here buying over the weekend, because as they're trying to find rentals, they are finding out there are no seasonal rentals. They are hard to come by. They are very expensive, and people start thinking, well, if we can't find a rental, we were going to spend between, $20,000 and $50,000 on a seasonal rental. We may as well use it for a down payment. And they keep snapping up either the home of their dreams or just something inexpensive. inexpensive is relative. It's still going to be $500,000. So here we are with ding round 1 on Labor Day weekend, and then ding round 2 is going to be the leaves turning yellow and these cold nights. You get those cold nights up north in August. And then we've got holidays coming up like Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas, and snowfalls and stuff like that. So the buyers have been here quietly buying. We still don't have excessive inventory. We still don't have any sort of avalanche in pricing. We still don't have a massive pileup in inventory. So we are not in distress, and I don't see it happening. And as we go into the fall and then into 2023, the ability to carefully shop for a home and be able to take your time and maybe negotiate some terms, actually negotiate, maybe negotiate under list, maybe negotiate some terms and services. The ability to do that diminishes when the masses come back to buy. And that's what the summer has afforded a lot of people, the ability to look at properties and not have to worry that it's going to be sold in hours. Some of them made it a couple of days. The ones that make it a longer time, they're overpriced or there's something wrong. And by something wrong, it faces a highway, there's some sort of obsolescence or some sort of upkeep and maintenance item that's going to be very costly. So the long story short is the proof is in the numbers. If you are concerned about anything going on in Bonita Springs, whether it's a neighborhood, a street, a sector, you name it, it can be found by looking at the current, pending, and past sales, and you'll have an actual depiction of what direction the market is going and how much you should bid either over or below list price.